I am a vascular surgeon. And I have a heavy confession to make. 80% of the leg amputations I perform on patients over 60 could have been completely prevented if they had only known what I am about to tell you right now. Welcome back to our sanctuary of health. Yesterday, in video number 2, we took a crucial step together. We learned how to check your vascular age in just 60 seconds right from your living room. If you did that test, you now know where you stand. But knowing the problem is only the beginning. Today, in video number 3, we are going to stop the damage. We are going to address the terrifying reality of why your legs feel heavy, why they tingle, and why they hurt. We are going to stop your legs from starving to death. I want you to respect your body enough to understand why this is happening. You are an intelligent person, and you deserve to know the truth, not just be told to take a pill. When you tell me your legs feel heavy, or cramp when you walk to the mailbox, medically, we call this claudication, but I want you to visualize it differently. Imagine your leg muscles are like a high-performance engine. When you are sitting on your sofa, that engine is idling. It doesn't need much fuel. But the moment you stand up and start walking, that engine revs up. Your calf muscles demand 5 times more oxygen-rich blood than when you are resting. In a healthy body, the arteries, which are the highways for your blood, widen to let that traffic through. However, for many of you watching this, those highways are under construction. This is what we call atherosclerosis. It is not just clogged pipes, like a kitchen sink. It is a biological war zone. According to major studies published in the journal Circulation by the American Heart Association, peripheral artery disease, PAD, begins when plaque builds up in the arteries of your legs. This plaque isn't just grease, it is a hardened mix of calcium, fat, and scar tissue. Imagine a 4-lane highway reduced to a single lane during rush hour. That is your artery. Your muscles are screaming for oxygen to fuel your walk, but the blood simply cannot get through that single lane fast enough. The pain you feel, that heaviness, that is not old age. That is your muscle tissue literally suffocating. It is crying out in starvation because it cannot breathe. Now, we need to talk about the symptom that scares me the most. It isn't the pain, it is the numbness, the tingling, the feeling of pins and needles, or sometimes the feeling of walking on cotton. Many of my patients ignore this. They think, oh, my foot is just asleep. But let me decode this signal for you using the strict evidence from the Journal of Vascular Surgery. Your nerves are the most delicate structures in your legs. They are the first to suffer when oxygen levels drop. The nerves require a constant, rich supply of nutrients from the blood. When that blood flow is restricted by those narrowed arteries we just discussed, the nerves begin to die. That tingling sensation? That is the distress signal. It is the biochemical equivalent of a scream for help. It means your nerves are gasping for air. If we ignore this, if we let that numbness turn into a total loss of sensation, we enter the danger zone. This is where a small cut on your toe can turn into a non-healing ulcer because you didn't feel it happen, and your blood couldn't get there to heal it. But here is the good news. We can reopen those lanes. We can feed those starving nerves. And we don't always need a scalpel to do it. I want to share a story about a patient of mine. Let's call him James. James was 72, a retired engineer, a man who loved numbers and logic, probably very much like many of you watching right now. James started feeling that tingling sensation we just talked about. He told his wife, "It's just part of getting older, Mary. The machinery is just wearing out." He ignored it for 2 years. By the time he came to my office, the skin on his feet was shiny and thin, and he had lost the hair on his toes, classic signs that the tissue was starving. James made the mistake of thinking that aging requires suffering. It does not. However, we must respect the biology of aging. According to research published in Gero Science and Aging US, as we cross the age of 60, our microcirculation changes. It is not just the big arteries, the tiny, microscopic capillaries, the little side streets that deliver oxygen to the individual cells, begin to disappear if they aren't used. This is called capillary rarefaction. Think of it like a city shrinking its bus routes. If the bus doesn't go to the suburbs anymore, the people there are stranded. When you stop moving because of pain, Your body shuts down those capillary routes. It's a vicious cycle. You hurt, so you sit, so the blood vessels shrink. The vessels shrink, so you hurt more. We are going to break that cycle today. We are going to reopen those bus routes. To do this, I want to take you on a quick journey across the ocean to Okinawa, Japan. This is one of the world's blue zones, where people routinely live healthy lives well into their 90s and 100s. When I studied their habits, I noticed something profound about their legs. They don't have a special pill, but they have a different lifestyle. In the West, we sit on high sofas and chairs. In traditional Okinawa culture, they sit on the floor, on tatami mats. This means that dozens of times a day, an 80-year-old Okinawan is squatting down and standing back up. This constant engagement of the legs acts as a natural pump. They call it having ikigai, a reason to get up in the morning. But physically, that action of getting up is the medicine. Now, I am not asking you to sit on the floor today. That might be too much for your knees right now. But we are going to borrow their wisdom. We are going to simulate that Okinawa pump safely, right from your sturdy chair. We are going to use modern biomechanics to mimic that ancient movement, forcing blood into those starving vessels without the risk of falling. But before we move a single muscle, we need to have an agreement. I am a doctor, but right now, I am not your doctor. I cannot see you through this screen. So, here is the rule. If at any point during these exercises you feel chest pain, severe shortness of breath, or dizziness, stop immediately. Do not push through bad pain. There is good discomfort, which is your muscles working, and there is bad pain, which is sharp or shooting. If you have a history of blood clots, DVT, severe heart failure, or have recently had surgery, please talk to your physician or physical therapist before trying these new movements. Your safety is more important to me than anything else. Are you ready? Let's begin to feed those legs. You have a heart in your chest that pumps blood out to your body. But did you know you have a second heart right here in your lower leg? Physiologically, we call this the calf muscle pump. And for many of you watching, this second heart has stopped beating effectively. That is a major reason why your legs are starving. Let me explain the mechanics. Your main heart is powerful, but it fights a losing battle against gravity. It pushes oxygen-rich blood down to your toes easily. But getting that blood, now depleted of oxygen and full of waste products, back up to the chest against gravity? That is a heavy lift. Your veins rely on your calf muscles to squeeze them. Every time you take a step, that muscle contracts and shoots blood upward, like squeezing a tube of toothpaste. But here is the data that keeps me up at night. A 2024 study in BMC Geriatrics highlighted how muscle atrophy in the lower limbs of adults over 65 leads to a drastic reduction in venous return. When these muscles get weak or flabby from sitting too much, they can't squeeze the veins hard enough. The result? The blood pools. It sits there, stagnant. This stale blood takes up the space that fresh, oxygenated blood is trying to reach. Your tissues suffocate not because there is no blood, but because the old blood won't leave. In the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, researchers have proven that specific activation of this muscle pump can restore peripheral circulation dynamics almost immediately. We need to wake up your second heart. We are going to perform the gold standard move to fix this. It is deceptively simple, but I want you to perform it with surgical precision. This is not just wiggling your toes. This is a medical procedure you can do in your living room. Sit on a sturdy chair. Your knees should be at a 90-degree angle, feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift your heels off the ground as high as you possibly can, while keeping your toes pressed firmly into the floor. When you reach the top, I want you to pause and squeeze that calf muscle hard for a count of 2. 1, 2. Feel that knot in the back of your leg? That is your second heart pumping. Lower your heels slowly back to the ground. Do not drop them. Lower them. Let's do 3 together. Up, squeeze, 1, 2, and down. Up, squeeze, 1, 2, and down. One more. Up, squeeze, 1, 2, and down. Do you feel that warmth starting to spread in your lower leg? That is not just muscle heat. That is fresh, Oxygenated blood forcing its way into those capillaries we talked about. That is your nerves taking a deep breath of fresh air. I recommend doing this for 2 minutes, 3 times a day. It is more effective than many medications I prescribe, and it costs you nothing. Now, as you sit there feeling that warmth return to your legs, I want you to think of someone. We all have that one friend, or perhaps a sibling or a neighbor, who complains about their legs. Maybe they can't walk to the park anymore. Maybe they complain about cold feet, even in the summer. They are suffering in silence, just like James did. Don't keep this secret to yourself. That wouldn't be fair to them. I want to ask you to do something kind right now. Look for the share button below this video. Send this to that person. Send it via text, or email, or Facebook. Say to them, I found this, and I thought of you. I want you to feel better. By doing that, you aren't just sharing a YouTube video. You are giving them a tool that might save them from surgery down the road. It is the most valuable gift you can give them today. Now, we have pumped fresh blood into your legs. But there is one mistake I see 9 out of 10 patients make that immediately undoes all that hard work. It is what I call the vascular tourniquet effect. You might be doing your exercises, eating right, and taking your medication, but then, you put on a pair of socks or shoes that slowly strangle your circulation throughout the day. Let's look at the science. According to the European Journal of Vascular and Endovascular Surgery, patients with chronic venous insufficiency often suffer from edema. That's swelling. That increases as the day goes on. Your foot is not the same size at 5 p.m. as it was at 8 a.m. Gravity pulls fluid down all day long. If you buy your shoes in the morning when your feet are skinny, by dinner time, those shoes act like a vice grip. They compress the dorsal arteries on the top of your foot. You might not feel pain, but your blood vessels feel the pressure. They collapse. And look at your socks. If you take off your socks at night and see a deep red ring indented into your calf, that is a warning sign. That indentation means the elastic was strong enough to compress your superficial veins, trapping the waste-filled blood in your foot and preventing it from returning to your heart. Here is my prescription for your wardrobe. 1. The afternoon rule. Only shop for shoes in the afternoon, when your feet are at their largest. If they fit then, they will fit always. 2. Check the elastic. If you have non-medical socks that leave a mark, throw them away. Look for diabetic or non-binding socks that stay up without squeezing. Do not let your clothing be the enemy of your circulation. We have covered a lot today, from the biology of starving nerves to the simple power of the calf pump. But my mission is to serve your specific needs. I build this channel based on what you tell me. So, I have a question for you. For our next deep dive, I am debating between 2 topics, and I want you to cast the deciding vote. Option A. Do you want to go deeper into varicose veins? Specifically, the natural foods that help dissolve microscopic clots? Option B. Or, is your biggest struggle actually knee pain that stops you from walking in the first place? Please, go to the comments section right now and type veins or knees. I will read through them tonight, and the majority will decide the topic of our next video. This is your community, and you are in charge. Now, for those of you who have been doing the seated calf pump and are starting to feel stronger, you might be thinking, Doctor, this is too easy for me now. I'm ready for the next level. If that is you, you are ready for the air cycle. This is the technique used by senior athletes in Japan to rejuvenate their vascular systems. It uses gravity to drain the legs completely, resetting your circulation while you lie in bed. It is powerful, but it requires perfect form to be safe for your lower back. I have prepared a complete guide on how to perform the air cycle safely. It is waiting for you right here in this video on the screen. Don't let your progress stop here. Click this video, and let's keep those legs moving. I'll see you there.